Boo, it is I, Broderick Wallace. I have returned after many moons. I didn't have enough data on my phone for a long time, and when you live on the road in a van, I have to rely on my friend Samuel Connor, actually, who's appeared on this channel. Had to pop round to his house and transfer some data over. For a long time I only had about 5 or 10 minutes worth of recording time on my phone, and I used that up on the last video. Check it out if you haven't already. British Lion, live at the Red Lion. Steve Harris from Iron Maiden on bass. It was amazing to see a man who is an inspirational figure, a working class hero, a personal hero, just a few feet away. The old fingers, jigging away there on the bass. Amazing. Well, I know I did say that, their last few albums weren't that good, but still doesn't take away the fact that I love the guy, So it's good tracks here and there. Senjutsu, that came out since I did that review, and of the single. Sorry. Yeah, it's only the last 2 tracks that I really enjoy, to be honest, and I wanted to like Death of the Celts just because of the title, but it's just not, it's just not delivering for me. So, and many other people, like I said, I think it's some of the fire has been lost because it's not like they're proving themselves. In fact, seeing Steve with the guys in British Lion, I felt like he was kind of reliving his past in a way, like he was wanting to almost start again and have that feeling of playing the small clubs and working up, and they're guys that want to prove themselves. Saying that, they've only released a couple of albums in about a decade or so maybe it's not quite that clear cut. But either way, love Maiden, love British Lion. I have talked about this Bruce Dickinson album, The Chemical Wedding, before, which is just awesome. Anyone who's a fan of, Hermetics, the occult, whatever, should definitely own and be fully experienced with that album. So it's like British Lion, 2 great albums. Bruce Dickinson's solo projects, great albums. But get them both together in Maiden and we get, something that doesn't quite hit the spot. Even the artwork as well. This is one thing that I did leave out of that discussion on Iron Maiden, was Derek Riggs, the legend Derek Riggs. Now, when I was about, 13 or whatever, when I first got into Maiden in 1988, over the next couple of years or so, my whole bedroom was just like a temple to Maiden, and it was mostly all the artwork of Derek Riggs. And being a bit of an artist myself, it was really inspirational and very formative towards developing my own style. I think it was a mixture of Derek Riggs from Iron Maiden, definitely Warhammer 40,000, the art in the Rogue Trader book especially. Oink comic was a big influence on me. That's a bit niche, check that out if you haven't. Oink comic, classic, back in the days before political correctness, the good old days. And I guess just all those comics that one used to find in the newsagents as a young man, and all the cartoons as well, those classic 80s cartoons. It's just that whole vibe, that was a golden age, definitely. And I've just come back from the gym. Trying to get that lockdown chub off. I don't have to look at my fat face all day, but every time you log on, you have to. I don't have to rewatch this, so I'm doing this for you. So bear that in mind. I'm sweating for you. At least 2 or 3 nights a week from now on, down at the gym. And I couldn't go to the gym for a while either because I could barely walk for a few weeks. That's another story. so we're coming back to full health. And I tell you what, I've been rushed off my tits because, I mean, as well as just learning how to survive living, you know, on the road in the van, whilst keeping up a full Hermetic practice and running a business, obviously I did document the some of the trials that came along, and you know, I mean, I'm doing community service every weekend as well, you know, and I mean, I did say to them, you know, I'm a window cleaner, so they got us working at schools in the local area, so I said, look, you know, just set me to work on the windows. So they're really happy. It saves them hundreds of pounds, these, and I'm happy to do it as well, because the little children come in, all the windows are shining, and I did that for them, you know. So yeah, I'm cleaning windows for the Queen, but really I'm doing it for the kids. So it's, you know, it's tough being it's tough being a criminal. What can I say? I should take this hat off. It makes me look even more like a criminal. Yeah, it's hot because I've just had the heater blazing driving, but it'll soon get cold. And this, all this waffle, I'm sort of catching up, and this is for a, remember, this is my personal vlog. I don't expect anyone's really too bothered, but they might be curious. You know, you might be having your lunch. Sod it, I'll chuck on that nutter, see what he's been up to. He's been gone for a while. Here he is again. Now, another reason, I'm trying to remember all the things that I need to say. Another reason I've been very busy is because I've been scribbling. Now we are getting very close. Not for a couple of you who are subscribed, a couple of you that I know personally, but for the other, you know, lucky subscribers, whoever you may be, I shall reveal my, I was going to say my real name, but my other name, because Broderick Wallace is also my real name now, if you know what I mean. It's a long story, it's complicated, but I do hope to explain how this happened and to document the ongoing adventure. So, hopefully not too far away in the future. Anyway, it's definitely going to happen. I've had the, you know, the thumbs up now. So Broderick Wallace is about to officially enter the world of print through a, you know, a wonderful occult publishers. It's just one chapter as part of a collaboration, but it's something, and it means a lot to me. It's really important. So hopefully, you know, fingers crossed, this will be the beginning of a new venture. I guess what I'm saying is there will be more. There will definitely be more. So stay tuned. So once, and don't get me wrong, you know, just a guy in a van practicing Hermetics, you know, trying to make sense out of my life. I think you know what I'm saying, right? You know, I enjoy this. I've been doing this channel 2 years. It's like therapy for me as well, in a way. But let's be very clear, I do have a sense of mission, and I believe in that. But I have to be realistic and humble in terms of, you know, the way that I present myself, because I'm what I imagined, the road that I want to go down. Things are happening, and you have to be gracious and grateful. So far, through some difficulty, some boxes are being ticked. So I'm very happy. So when on this channel, when I reveal the book that I shall be contributing to, on that same day, it means I shall reveal my artist page, and also my musicians page. So if you're sitting at home thinking, I can't get enough of this bald nutter, there's going to be so much more for you. So so look out. What else did I want to say? You know, there's been a lot. I mean, it's been like this for years, to be honest. Where would you? And it will continue like this, I'm sure. But especially recently, there's been a lot going on. And you know, I'm starting to realise one thing about growing up. I mean, I shall be 45 next month. I know I don't look it. I know I look 35. No need to say that. No need to comment that straight away. But I know it's surprising. But, you know, I think as you grow up, I mean, I've never had to deal with death directly. This might sound like a really weird thing for me to say, considering the videos that I've left. On an interpersonal level with people, I haven't had to deal with it that way. When my father passed away, I just got a phone call from my ex-wife. So I saw it on the internet. Thought you better know. You know, there was no funeral or anything. When I think back to when my grandfather passed away, we were young and the decision was made. No, don't. You know. So it was always from a distance. And I never really got to know my grandfather because he died when I was not properly in the way that you might, grow into maturity and get to know someone. And I guess what I'm saying is it's the first time that someone in my circles has passed away. And don't get me wrong, it's I really want to choose my words carefully here. Just a wonderful human being, really. I mean, and you realise that more especially when someone has crossed the river, someone has passed on too young as well. And I didn't have the pleasure of ever meeting this person, but I had. You see, my little van on the edge of the woods in these holy lands, it attracts long, deep discussions into the night with fellow travellers on the spiritual path, and he was one of those people. And we had some lovely discussions. And what happened is that when something like that happens, all of a sudden, all the little things, I mean, don't get me wrong, I mean, I belong to a group of people who are very mature anyway, but if there was anything, it just immediately, it's like it doesn't mean anything. Everyone just pulls together, and all of a sudden, I'm starting to realise, perhaps when you meet elderly people, every now and then you get let into a secret of growing up. Something that you can only know through experience, and one of those things is, now I've found out that as you grow older, and unfortunately sometimes people will pass on, it does make you, all of a sudden, it's like a burst of growing up, and of appreciation and maturity, and makes you realise how precious people are, how fragile they are, and how being grown up and being good and being noble and contributing, or rather your contributions to the world will be wholesome. We all need comfort. I mean, I'm not the best person to talk about this. You know, I got virtually nothing, you know, but everyone knows this really, but people who meditate daily, people who have an absolute unshakable knowledge of the fact that this life is not the end, we don't tend to get too attached, but we want to take care of business while we're here, and there are things that need looking after. There are things that need preserving. Again, I guess I'm saying that this is something that's already known, but it really emphasizes the point that, you know, to be a good person, is what you want to be remembered for the right reasons. You know, I guess that's what I'm saying. And so there has been a pause, you know, for sadness and you know, contemplation of mortality recently, on an elevated level. And I do feel awkward talking about this, especially because, you know, a couple of people might watch this, but you know, I believe that I've stayed within the realms of respect here. And I was listening to a podcast last night, and this guy, as I'm talking about age right now, this guy was talking about becoming middle-aged, and he brought up the, you know, the classic trope of the midlife crisis, which happens around 40 classically, and it always seems to happen to men for some reason. Women seem to get off the hook. It tends to be a more male thing, you know. The classic, you know, have an affair with your secretary, buy a sports car. It's like when you get faced with mortality, you can go one of two ways, and it usually ends up like you're trying to cling on to life. You're trying to go back. And I experienced a little bit of this around about the age of 38, 37, 38. You know, I was a bit naughty for a while. And you know, being human is hard, and there's things we need to explore, and we need to explore ourselves in a way that hopefully is, you know, somewhat wholesome. And so it's always important to state that there's you know, everything's about moderation, but you can, you know, there is a tendency to cling to, you know, to the idea of youth. You know, all of a sudden you're buying loads of products to try and make your skin healthier. You're, you know, trying to pull younger women. You're trying to get your score count up. You know, that sports car. You're trying to do the thing. You're trying to live the dreams, the things you wanted to do when you were, you know, 25 or so. You're trying to get them in now. You know, the funny thing is that it depends what you want, doesn't it? I mean, in my case, what have I wanted to be over the years? One thing which I won't say, but it should be obvious by my channel, one of my major ambitions. Also, you know, at times a musician. I don't feel that need anymore, although it's nice, you know, to have that music around. It will always be around. Like, you know, I want it, I like it to be heard, otherwise I wouldn't have made it, you know. An artist, I don't necessarily cling to that ambition anymore, but I will continue to make art, and if anything, you know, that would be, you know, a bonus. but it's like, to me, it's an extension of the spiritual path, if you like. A writer as well, and to have that tiny victory on the horizon there, it means a hell of a lot to me, but I better, that's enough said on that one. We'll wait till things actually materialize, but they will. It's all in process now. So I actually, even though I didn't need to, this is a good idea, especially if you have original ideas. It doesn't matter whether they're valid or not, or if anyone else would, but if you have original ideas about things, even though you trust the people that you associate with, and you're sure everything will be fine, it's always best to do, to back up, to have proof. And there are more ideas that I'm keeping from this channel. Some ideas I've chucked out on this channel quickly in order to have them date stamped, especially the notion, concerning the ghost of Bluebell Hill, because I talked about this with people, and I wanted to get that, on record, certain aspects, concerning her, and a few other bits and pieces. So there is text that I have included in a private video. This is always a really good, my meditation teacher, actually, he was instrumental in this decision, because he told me the story about a guy who wrote a whole book, sent it off to an editor, and the editor immediately rewrote all of these ideas just in different wording and published it ahead of the book that he was supposed to be editing. So basically stole all this guy's ideas. And it's very, very unlikely, it's very rare, but it's always best to have some kind of dated proof, for anything like that. And so that's already been taken care of. And anyway, yeah, this midlife crisis thing. So you can go either way, or you can perhaps go one way for a bit, and it might fluctuate, and you might stabilize in a particular direction until until you have stabilized into a new direction. And it's a shame that a lot of people get divorced around this time of life, and I'm one of those people, and I do feel a lot of pain and a lot of guilt concerning certain aspects of that. It's not something that I ever envisioned, not something that I'm proud of at all. But you see, when you're looking for satisfaction in partners, and new toys in the form of cars, and nice clothing, or even just pictures on Facebook of you looking great, nights out, being successful in whatever you perceive success to be, it's nice, it's good, you can only be happy for other people, it's nice, but beyond certain family considerations of family members, and love between a couple, this kind of, beyond these kinds of concerns, there's probably something else that I've forgotten, but just fill in the blank yourself. It's like nothing really satisfies, does it? In that way, it's only through so artistic endeavors, love, relationships, family, that kind, these are the only things that come anywhere close, but even there's always that bit of tension, that bit of struggle, that bit of friction. You always kind of need to, be careful. There's always a risk of things. There's always, it's what I'm finding more and more, and what I'm coming to here. Sorry, I know I've lost my way a little bit. I mean, I never plan these, do I? So forgive me, But the idea that nothing satisfies, and it's not particularly clever to take that phrase, nothing satisfies, and swing that around, but it is kind of obvious, And what I've found over increasing my meditation ridiculously, compared to the time that I was putting into meditation, before I joined the meditation group that I belong to, I was doing like 20 minutes twice a day. Now I will do anything between, at the very minimum, 1 hour, so it's anywhere between 1 and 2 hours, and I'm really having a conversation with myself that needs to it needs to go up, actually, because I want it to. Because the more time you spend just completely divorced from mind chatter, just in the emptiness, and just one's own being and breath, just the further one gets towards nothing, the more satisfaction one brings back, like this, to bring the fruits of one's meditation into daily life. So beyond, beyond certain obvious considerations, I do find that that's where the peace, that's where the satisfaction, that's where the energy that one needs to persevere, to carry on, that's where one's strength is drawn from. And if it inspires anyone watching my videos, I can tell you that after a year of putting in that much time into meditation, when you sit down, when you assume your position, obviously there's certain rituals that I go through, but this is unimportant right now. Once you assume that position, as soon as you start breathing through the nose, once you've given the psychological triggers off, it's like, in a car where it's got like that 0 to 60, like how quick can you, like when you begin meditation, it takes a long time to get, it takes longer to get there. What I'm saying is that now I can just sit down. As soon as I start breathing through my nose with my eyes closed, I'm accessing something indescribable. And, my faith in, the call to mysticism, and the sense of responsibility towards carrying out one's mission, and serving the world through nobility. And now, bearing in mind, and this will be obvious at some point in the future, that I've had the best example when it comes to that. The best example that anyone could ever wish for. So, yeah, Oh, here we go. But there's, you know, there's things to play for, you know. I tell you what, you know, someone asked me recently, you know, what's your next step on from here? And my answer was, that question shouldn't be answered right now, because if I can find peace, balance, and success where I am, then that will bring a particular kind of pride and sense of achievement with it. In other words, it will make a real victory of this existence for me. You know, I'm not sitting around thinking, oh, you know, what happens when I'm 60? What happens when I'm 70? You know, these winters are cold, etc. I'm just dealing with what is, and to make a success of what is. Even though obviously it doesn't always feel like that, of course it doesn't. But in the back of the mind, if one just sticks to the game, what was the phrase? What was the I'm paraphrasing, I don't know if I'll get this completely correct, but I have said before, when the storm comes, tie yourself to the mast, the central pillar of your practice. Thank you and good night. God's bless.